Your Minnesota Vikings are unfortunately sort of shoehorned into the 3 spot in the NFC because they no longer control their own destiny for the 2 seed, even though they had a shot at the 1 seed. Is what it is. If the Niners beat the David Bling Blang Blau led Cardinals at home week 18, it doesn't matter what the Vikings do. San Francisco, by virtue of the conference record tiebreaker, would have the 2 seed, and the Vikings will be in the 3 seed. But it is kind of nice because if the Vikings settle for the 3 seed, they know that they're going to get it, and the Giants have already secured the 6 seed, so they already know who they're playing, a team that they beat in their building, in our building. U.S. Bank Stadium last week, and now you have 2 weeks to prepare for them again. It would be kind of nice. But the most important thing is getting to the playoffs healthy. And week 18 against the crooked Chicago Bears at Chicago, it needs to look like a preseason game. They need to sit as many starters as possible. Now, it is tough with the constrictions of the 53-man rooster, the game day 46, only 2 practice squad elevations. They should open that up for the last week of the season, by the way. Like, they should allow every team like 5 or 6 practice squad elevations, but again, whatever. So diving in to what the Vikings lineup needs to look like against the Bears. Like I said, this has to look like a preseason game. So we got the starters, as well as second teamers, players that should be inactive or at minimum just off to the sideline, have 0 chance of going in. And then we got the practice squad elevations in green, which we'll explain here in a sec. But Justin Jefferson, I love him. He doesn't have a shot at the record realistically. I do not want to expose him to further hits or an injury risk. So, we're going to sit him. Also, since Kirk is going to be sitting, since we're not putting him behind the starting offensive line, it doesn't make any sense. So, starting at the top, we're sitting Kirk Cousins, right? So, without Kirk, life would not be great. So you're going to be starting Nick Mullins, and then you're going to call up Josh Rosen, chosen Rosen from the practice squad to be quarterback 2, because if you didn't, and you just had Kirk as your quarterback 2, if something happened to Mullins, and all of a sudden Kirk has to go in behind a janky offensive line, no. Alexander Madison, I would have active and start. King Kene, Ty Chandler in the mix as well. Dalvin sitting forever. Now with CJ is too important to the special teams. Also, I would get CJ a lot of work. I would give CJ like 12 or 14 carries. Just go get it, man. Absolutely. Wide receivers, we're sitting Jefferson, we're sitting Thielen. I would try to sit KJ, except then you run into roster constraints because you only have 5 wide receivers on the 53. You already used the 2 practice squad elevations on Rosen and Kyle Hinton. So you're going to be starting Rager, Naylor, as well as KJ Osborne. KJ would be your wide receiver 1. In this spot. Irv hasn't been activated yet. TJ Hawkinson, you're obviously sitting. So Johnny Munt and Nick Muse are going to be your tight end 1 and 2. Offensive line. So this is where it gets interesting. So we got Josh Sokol on here. Sokol and Hinton are both on the practice squad, except I imagine that Schlutman is going to go on injured reserve. They're probably going to call up Sokol or Hinton from the practice squad to the 53. So you're only elevating one of them. So in this case, we elevated Hinton, put Sokol on the 53. And left to right, so rookie Vidarian Lowe coming out of Illinois would make his debut at left tackle. Ezra Cleveland and at left guard. Chris Reed at center, which, if you have to rely on Chris Reed, have him get the freaking snap count right and go from there. Ed Ingram still needs work, whatever. And then Oli Udoh would be in a right tackle where he took over from Brian O'Neill after he strained his calf against the Packers. And then inactive, you'd have Darisaw. Yes, Bradbury and O'Neill are probably going to be inactive as it is. Try and get them back to full fitness for the playoffs if they do return. Defensively, so Blacklock was a healthy scratch on Sunday against the Packers. So you got Blacklock, Kairos Tonga, and Osezo Tamawo, the rookie from the Gophers. So having them up as your defensive lineman, you're sitting Diesel, you're sitting Harrison Phillips, and James Lynch is already sitting due to that shoulder injury. Although you may consider, if he's potentially not going to make it back for the playoffs, putting him on injured reserve and allowing you to call up another practice squad player to have a little bit of depth along the defensive line or anywhere else. Edge rusher, you're sitting Daniil, you're sitting Za'Darius, non-negotiable, and then you're letting PJ2, DJ Wanham, and Luigi Villain get after it. And then inside linebackers or off-ball linebackers, got Troy Brian Asamoah going to be starting, as well as my guy William Kwenku. In the mix, you're sitting Kendricks, you're sitting Hicks. Quarterbacks-wise, so you're sitting Patrick Peterson. I would like Duke Shelley to get as much work as possible. He's been looking really good. Also, revenge game against the Bears. Love it. Dantzler needs some reps. Chris Boyd, Kalon Barnes. TBD, if they bring back a Caleb Evans off of injured reserve, he's getting close to his where he's able to come off IR. And then Shana work in the slot. And then safety-wise, so you could convince me to sit both Harrison and Bynum, or you could play Bynum, whatever. But Theo Jackson and Josh Metellus would be getting the work in that spot. Specialists would be the same. And, yeah, you're going in with a skeleton crew, but you'll be able to do it. It would be kind of like a diet version of the third preseason game when you already have roster cut down. So stay as healthy as possible. Let the veterans guys rest in this meaningless game, or essentially meaningless game. Jefferson, even though he does have an outside shot at the record, probably not going to get it. And also, I don't trust him with Nick Mullins. I don't trust Kirk Cousins behind the backup offensive line, even though, is it really worse than the starting offensive line? I don't know. But sit as many dudes as possible. Get to the Giants game as healthy as possible. That is the name of the game right now. But your thoughts are thoughts. Take a look at what the lineup should be Week 18 against the crooked Chicago Bears. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Once put the work, put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skull Production Value.